Whom it may concern, America's in distress, with our future on the line. Look around, it's a mess, we took a turn. Now everything you say is offensive, and we slowly losing our freedom, ain't got no defense.
We can raise the black flag if they want war, had mercy for the enemy, but don't know more. We can raise the black flag if they want war, had mercy for the enemy.
All right, welcome to Coal Region Discontent. And here we have another special segment where we're going to be interviewing a candidate that is running for the U.S. Senate here in Pennsylvania. The candidate's name is Carla Sands. You may have heard of her before. She worked on the Trump administration as an ambassador. And, well, she should be joining us here in just a few minutes. So, but remember, the only way some of these candidates get their voice out, because there's a lot of money being thrown in the race. And the only way I get my voice out is if you share the video. Make sure you share. Make sure you, if you like the videos and you like to share them, then follow us on Facebook, Coal Region Discontent. We're also on a podcast at anchor.fm/Coal Region Discontent. We're also on rumble.com, youtube.com. We are on Getter, which is at CR Discontent. We're on Truth Social. So remember to follow the pages, like. And sooner than later, we will have either more candidates on, and we'll also be trying to get up a web page. So, like I said, Carla Sands will be joining us soon. Don't forget to get out and vote, because the primary election is almost as important as the general election. Now you get to weed out the people that are real or fake, or the ones you trust, or the ones you actually want to vote for in November. I like to do these things because it helps get voices out. It helps get people to let people know that there's choices out there. There's more than just the choices you hear on the radio or in your YouTube ads or in between commercials on your local news. All right. So here we are. We have Ambassador Carla Sands, or former Ambassador Carla Sands, running for U.S. Senate. I don't know if you remember, I did get the chance to meet you at Lycoming County meet and greet with the Patriots. I know you meet a lot of people.
No, I remember, of course.
But you seem to be a genuine type of person, and I'd like to help you get your voice out there and let people know there's choices when it comes to these elections and how important the primary election can be.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to talk to you and also your listeners.
I mean, if you could begin, I did just mention that you were an ambassador on the Trump administration. Maybe we could get a little bit of your background and what exactly your stance is on some things.
It would be my pleasure. Thank you very much. I'll stop looking at you on the screen and I'll look at the camera. I'm Carla Sands, and I'm running for the U.S. Senate here in Pennsylvania. I'm from Cumberland County in the South Central area, and I'm a third-generation doctor of chiropractic and practiced alongside my father in our family practice in Camp Hill. And I'm from a faith-filled home. Christ Community Church, a church of almost 2,000 members here in my county, was founded in the living room of my childhood home. So I come from very faithful people, and I promise I will take that with me to Washington. You know, I'm a pro-life, pro-First Amendment, pro-Second Amendment, constitutional conservative, and I'm an America First businesswoman and Christian and mom. I'm also an 8th generation Pennsylvanian, and my Pennsylvania ancestors fought in the American Revolution and in the Civil War. And this is our time to fight for the heart and soul of our great nation. This is our 1776, because the Democrat Party is no longer the party of JFK. This is the party of AOC and Bernie Sanders, and they're Marxist, and they're coming for us and all of our constitutional freedoms, so, beginning with our freedom of speech, but they're coming for us for the ultra MAGA, as President Biden said. So I just want to share, I have a website also, carlasands.com. carlasands.com. Please go to my website. We need your help. We're about 4 days out from the election. We've got to hold this seat in Republican hands. I believe I'm the only candidate that conservatives can trust to go to Washington and fight for them, who can beat John Fetterman in November. And the point is not to vote for somebody we love right now, but someone who can win in November. That's me. I served as the U.S. ambassador to Denmark, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands from 2017 until 2021, working to defend our country against our adversaries like Russia and China. I worked with my team to block that Russian gas pipeline, for instance, to block Chinese-made 5G in Denmark and other efforts. And we were so successful that the Department of Defense gave me their highest civilian honor. It's called the Medal for Distinguished Public Service. But we also increased trade over 43%. So we created jobs right here at home. So humbly, I'm asking for your listeners' vote. I'm asking them to go to the polls on May 17th and vote for Carla Sands for the Senate. I'll be the last name on the ballot, but you know the first shall be last and the last shall be first, right?
Well, I did notice there's a lot of people that haven't heard of a lot of people that are in the race because there's money being thrown around at certain candidates. And a lot of people that listen to my thing, they did support Donald Trump, and a lot of people are riding his coattail. But it seems as though, I mean, if you notice, Trump just endorsed Dr. Oz, which nobody that I know understands the reasoning for. And I feel like we need to send somebody to the Senate that's going to speak for our voices, that we can trust that they're going to speak and has a record of it. And if you look at certain people in the race, they have a record of doing the exact opposite until it came time for election. And now there's smear ads everywhere and everything. But let's talk about, like, I live in the coal region. I mean, it says coal region discontent. It's not always about the coal region, but we feel like we're left behind here. And we did have a thriving energy here for a while, but Pennsylvania itself has thriving energy, and we still have the third highest gas tax of all the states. And yet our roads are deteriorating, and that's supposed to be a user tax. Mm-hmm. And I don't think people understand that we are also a big producer of energy, and yet we still have that gas tax, and we're not seeing these kind of things at the pumps. And it maybe have to do with the policies that are in Congress right now. Maybe you'd like to expand on your stance on the energy here in Pennsylvania.
Absolutely. I'm so excited about opportunity here in Pennsylvania with our Pennsylvania energy. I actually called on the main stage at CPAC for Operation Warp Speed, that we harvest more energy, we lay the pipes throughout our country, we send our domestic energy around. We have enough to power the entire country right here under the ground in Pennsylvania for 300 years. So I like that green energy transition because the natural gas has brought our CO2 emissions down while our economy's grown. That's a win. But I actually like the power of I'll just say it, the power of the federal government when it comes to breaking log jams, like President Trump did with Operation Warp Speed for the pharmaceuticals during the pandemic. And I think we have to get over these NIMBY laws in our regions and different states that don't allow pipes to go through them, like the fact that we can't pipe Pennsylvania natural gas through New York to New England, and New England is still importing Russian gas. So I think we should use our domestic energy, and it should be part of our Emergency Powers Act to really get our domestic energy ramped up. You saw Joe Biden just canceled leases, the Alaska area lease and the Louisiana area lease. He's at war with our domestic energy, and that includes coal and natural gas.
Well, a lot of people outside of Pennsylvania don't understand or even think about coal is used for production of steel, production of glass. They use it in filters. It's more than just burning it to heat your home and type things like that. But like you said, where there's coal, there's usually natural gas. And natural gas in Pennsylvania is abundant. And these bring high-paying jobs. But nobody wants to build an infrastructure in the oil and gas industry when they're not sure when the current president is just going to cut their lease right off as soon as they get it.
That's right. How can a company risk their capital if they have so much insecurity with what the government's going to do when the new government comes in? So we're going to need to be able to protect. We're going to have to protect those investments so companies can invest and not fear, like Keystone XL pipeline, that the president comes in with the stroke of a pen, kills hundreds of millions of dollars of investment. Those are real people's investments. And those are real jobs, 11,000 good jobs. So we have to make sure that presidents, just because they don't like something, and they're part of the Green New Deal, can't turn off that investment and hurt Pennsylvania and the United States and so many working people. So what I believe, we look at the energy mix in Pennsylvania on a cold day, it's about a third nuclear, a third coal, and a third natural gas. There's about 1.5%, maybe a little more, of renewables. I believe in all kinds of energy. I want to see more of all of these energies because we can ship some to our allies so they don't have to do things like buy Russian gas. So I want to ramp up all of our energy production. If we have inexpensive energy, it'll be more attractive to bring manufacturing back to Pennsylvania. I want to see manufacturing rebuilt. I want us to make steel here. I want us to process rare earth minerals here. We do everything cleaner in the United States than anywhere in the world. But we need common sense regulations, not Green New Deal policy that's trying to put these companies out of business and end our domestic energy production, farming, manufacturing. They want to be carbon neutral. That's insanity. We have to have a strong economy to be a strong country. So I want to bring it all back, and I want to ramp up our energy. And that includes clean coal. I support it, but I also support the kind of coal that makes steel. We need, like you said, all of the kinds of energy and production and manufacturing. I would like to see us make pharmaceuticals here in Pennsylvania rather than have them made in China or India. It may cost a little more in the salaries, but we can cut the cost of transportation, and we can also make sure we have it in case of conflict, because we can see right now China's flexing and trying to push militarily. I think I mentioned my team and I that we countered China and Russia. There's no one else in this race that has capabilities in international trade, international diplomacy, like foreign policy experience, but also defense policy experience, understanding how to counter our adversaries. And I also worked with many different departments in Washington to get things done. I had to create coalitions. And as a Republican Trump ambassador, working with mostly Democrats, that's not easy, but I was able to do it. And so if I can do it there, I can do it for Pennsylvania as the US Senator. I'm on social media, and I hope you'll follow us on social media. I hope you'll like what you see. We were on Steve Bannon's War Room this morning. I was on Newsmax last night and Sean Hannity. We're getting our message out because we are the conservative alternative that's actually vetted. You know, we have 3 leading candidates, 2 guys that just can't close the deal, even though they're spending tens of millions of dollars. The voters don't trust them. One, I call China first because he made his billions in China, and you don't make billions without bowing to the Chinese Communist Party. So he's not going to be able to hold them accountable for their ambitions, especially military ambitions and their economic ambitions on us. And then I have Turkey first because he chose to serve in the Turkish military. That's Mehmet Oz instead of the US military, even though he was born in Ohio. And Dave McCormick, Mr. China First, I call him Mitt Romney McCormick because he'll make bad deals with the Democrats if he gets in the Senate. And Mehmet Oz, I mean, listen, he doesn't share our values. He's not even from Pennsylvania. He's from New Jersey, and he's come out in favor of using the CDC to regulate the Second Amendment, critical race theory. He has supported transgender minors. He even got jussied by Jussie Smollett. He got snookered by him. How in the world can he counter Russia and China if he can be fooled by somebody like Jussie Smollett? We all knew that was a hoax. But then we have one more conservative, and she has a great personal story. There is no question about that. But she hasn't been vetted. And there's a lot of things coming out now. And I hope it's not too late because she cannot win in November. She lost by 20 points in a red wave year to a weak Democrat, and that's a landslide loss. John Fetterman's not a weak Democrat. He's a strong Democrat. We have to win this seat. That's the point. So I hope, and I'm praying, that conservative Pennsylvania voters, our primary voters, will get behind my campaign. I've been a Senate confirmed ambassador, so I've been vetted up and down. And I am a credible candidate in that I understand business. I've run a business with a nationwide footprint. I've been a US ambassador. I've run a tiny business as a 3rd-generation doctor of chiropractic. I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and work hard like a central Pennsylvania girl does. We're hardworking people. And Pennsylvania's been going in the wrong direction for about 40 plus years. It's time for a turnaround. It's time to bring back opportunity, so our kids and grandkids have a better life than we had. That's the American dream, and that should be the Pennsylvania dream. And I will work to secure our border, to build the wall and stop the invasion by illegal aliens and the record amounts of fentanyl, the number one killer of our youth. I'll work so that we stop the inflation by stopping the out of control spending in Washington. They're just printing money and flooding our country with so many trillions of dollars that the cost of everything has exploded, and it's hurting our families and our seniors. I'll also work to be the energy senator and protect our farmers from this Green New Deal overreach. And lastly, and this is for the parents, I will work to protect our kids so that at the federal level, we ban indoctrinating our kids to hate each other and hate our great country, so that parents have curriculum transparency and they can see what the teachers are teaching the children, and also so that they don't sexually groom our children. That should be absolutely illegal. I even will say this, for the parents who maybe don't live in the best zip codes, I would like to see, and I will advocate for the power for parents and guardians to have the money that is dedicated to their children's education. They are able to put it to whatever school their child can qualify for, so that their child, no matter what zip code they're from, can fulfill their God-given potential. Kind of like a health savings account, but it'll be an account for education, so that every family will have opportunity to go to the best school for their child. What will happen? Every school will get better.
I know I'm a little bit on the fence about the homeschooling and school choice. I can see the benefits of both of them, but I can also see the downfall of having schools left behind or having schools step up. And the homeschooling, it's kind of harder to know who's qualified to teach their child. I feel like schools are supposed to teach kids how to think and not what to think.
But they're indoctrinating them now. And in Florida, they actually give some of that money to the homeschooling parents. Now they have to prove the curriculum, they have to prove the purchases, but they're supporting that. And those are their person's tax dollars. That's not the government's money anyway. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I kind of feel like it's a good idea. Like I said, they should be teaching them how to think and not what to think. And kids of that age, like in the parental rights and education in Florida, that bill says from kindergarten to third grade not to teach any kind of sexual activity. They could call it the Don't Say Gay bill or the Don't Say Straight bill. Doesn't matter either way, but kids don't think in color and they don't think in sex until they're taught it. And if somebody's sitting there and deciding they need to teach or need to talk to third graders or below, they don't need to be a teacher. They don't need to talk to them about sexual orientation. They don't need to talk to them about race. They don't need to tell them if one class is, they don't need to be picking and choosing which class is better than the other, which race is better than the other. And like I said, I feel like we need to fix the schools, the ones we have. But if it doesn't work, the school choice thing is, I feel a lot of schools that, like Christian schools, private schools, they hold their standards higher because they want people to come there because they want the money from it. But like I said, I'm on the fence about that. And that is one of the table talk issues of people is their children, the schooling and the energy. It's just, there's a lot of things going on right now with this administration, with the Senate. And if we have $40 billion to send to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And now, granted, it might be a humanitarian crisis. It might be, it's not good. Wars are never good. Of course, they're not good. Mm-hmm. But we're not taking care of our people at home. If we're spending $40 billion for their defense budget, what's the first thing that Democrats jump to if the government's failing the people? They always say, well, if we didn't have such a high defense budget, but they're all getting behind putting $40 billion in Ukraine's coffers so they can defend themselves, which would be all well and good if we were taking care of our people here, especially our veterans. Like I said, if you look around here, look at our streets, look at our roads, everything's deteriorating, coming off the shelves. And we need somebody in Senate to be able to push an agenda forward, like I said, an American first agenda. I believe everybody's on a global stage. I believe we all are interconnected in some way.
Mhm.
but we're a beacon of freedom and a beacon of light to the rest of the world. And if we're starting to falter, then somebody's going to step in and take that place.
You're so right. You know, a couple of things come to my mind with what you just said. It's a lot to unpack. First of all, I like Martin Luther King Jr.'s statement that to judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. I want to be the senator for people in Pennsylvania from all races, all religions, both sexes. I want to be the people's senator because I don't think the people have been well served. And, you know, we're not the party of identity politics. That's something Republicans reject. We are the party of opportunity, but also capability. I want the best doctor I can get. I don't want the identity politics doctor. That's going to get people killed, I'm afraid. But also that $40 billion. Thank God for Rand Paul saying no. You know, here's the thing. Congress already appropriated $13 billion of our taxpayer dollars to Ukraine, and they haven't even spent half of it. They're giving them aid and arms. It's terrible what's going on in Ukraine. I support giving them aid and arms. We're generous people, but they're in Europe, and Europe is rich. Those countries are giving their citizens free healthcare and free college. They need to pony up some money for Ukraine and take care of their own. We'll come in if everything fails, but at the same time, this is Europe's problem, not ours. Our border is our problem, and we have a president who's weak and compromised and corrupt. And he is not only not going to challenge China, Ukraine, and Russia because they're making money over there illicitly through that family, but he's not securing our own border because these people are Marxist. And they're giving these people that are invading free cash cards, free healthcare, free housing, free transportation. We don't get that. And they get formula. They have baby formula, and our American citizens are struggling to find baby formula for the newborns, for the moms. It's out of control. And I will work so that I will never vote for something like $40 billion to Ukraine when we have veterans sleeping on the street and families sleeping on the street. We need to take care of our own, give them a hand up, not a handout, help them get back on their feet. And if someone is incapable of taking care of themselves, and I'm not talking about able-bodied young people that aren't going back to work, because we need to give them a little shove, but I'm talking about folks that are incapable. And I personally understand this. Those people we need to take care of, and we need to do it compassionately and not through the prison system. So I will be an advocate for those who can't take care of themselves, but also a hand up to the people that just need a hand to get back on their feet, because things happen to people, and we need to make sure that the American citizens are our first concern. Every world leader has their first responsibility to the people they govern who elected them. But this president is so incompetent and corrupted and compromised and so influenced and controlled by the left, the Marxists, that we need to take him out in 2024. In 2024, we need to elect a strong America First president. And this November, we need to elect strong America First congressmen and senators. And I'm asking for your vote on May 17th for Carla Sands for the Senate, and I will never back down for you. I will always fight to put Pennsylvania first. In fact, you have my pledge that I'll take my faithfulness to Washington. I'll take my business experience, foreign policy experience, my trade policy, defense policy experience, and I will always take my Pennsylvania virtues to Washington and put America first every day. And I have my website in case you just joined. I hope that you will go to my website and help us. You can donate. You can sign up to volunteer. We're going to have poll watchers and people getting out the vote at the last minute. I'm having an event tonight in Philadelphia at Chickies and Pete's, and I have an event tomorrow morning at the VA in Mechanicsburg. And we are barnstorming across the Commonwealth. And I hope that you will join our team and make sure we have an America First senator representing Pennsylvania in Washington. Thanks so much.
I just had one more question for you. It was actually a question from somebody, and they just wanted to know what your thoughts were and what the answer would be to the Supreme Court leak that we just had before a decision was even made. I feel like it's supposed to be sacred in the court. They're not supposed to be able to be intimidated. It's supposed to be a trust that they'll talk amongst themselves. Not everything's supposed to get out to everybody all at once. So, I mean, what is your take on that? And is there a way that we could stop that? I mean, it's another sign of this weak administration that we have right now.
It's also a sign of the lawlessness and the leftists that are on the march. The leftists are always on the offense, and the Republicans seem to often be on the defense. And I will always be on the offense. And it's time for the left to compromise for the next 20, 30 years, because we've been compromising and things have gone in a very bad direction for our country. So I will be on the offense. When I look at that Supreme Court leak, it's the first time in the history, I believe, that it's ever happened. I think the person who did it should be disbarred, make an example of them, because the left only understands power and consequences. If you let them off, they're going to do it again worse. So we have to have consequences, real ones, to what they did. Then the leak, well, now we know it's probably coming. I agree. I think that Roe v. Wade was unconstitutional. I support the overturn because the power belongs with the people at the state level, and the Supreme Court usurped states' rights to have the decision making. When I am pro-life at the beginning of life and at the end of life. When I served in Denmark, I learned that most European countries, they ban abortion after 12 weeks. Pennsylvania allows it up until like 22 or 24 weeks. So that's, some states in the United States go all the way to birth. And Nancy Pelosi just tried to pass a law making it taxpayer funded up to birth across our country. Unbelievable. That's worse than communist China and North Korea. We're a Judeo-Christian nation. What the heck are the left doing? They're upending every belief that we have. I mean, our country used to be largely united. I believe it's possible again, but first we have to defeat the left to reunite. So I just hope that every patriot watching will call their representative and tell them what they believe, that they will run for office. I believe we have to get out of our offices, our workplace, out of our homes, out of our churches, and be the salt and the light in our country and our Commonwealth, and take our country back. And I will be there to help in the Senate, working for you every day. And you'll never have a harder working senator, I can promise you.
All right. Like I said, this is Carla Sands, and she is running for Senate, U.S. Senator in Pennsylvania here. And she's hoping to have your vote. Unless you have anything else to add, we could end this segment.
Thanks. Well, vote for Carla Sands on May 17th. It's next Tuesday. I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking for your support. I have a website, carlasands.com, and I so appreciate you watching and that you're actually interested in taking our country back and making our Commonwealth more prosperous. Thank you so much. And thanks for the opportunity. Bye.
All right. And thank you. All right, guys. And that was Carla Sands running for U.S. Senate. She is on the primary ticket and going to be in the election May 17th for the primary, and then the general election will be for whoever we choose during the primary. And on this segment, like I do every time, make sure you get out there and vote for one thing, and make sure you get out there and do your research for these candidates, and not just the ones that are throwing enough money around, not the ones that are just blaming and smearing everybody else. This, like I said, on all these segments, this is just to get their voice out there. I hope you choose wisely. All right. And I believe that the United States Constitution is the greatest political document ever written. I don't believe it needs rewritten. I believe it needs reread. We need to understand it. Thank you. Remember to like and share the video to help get this out there, and to always follow us on all the pages. And God bless.
Whom it may concern, America's in distress, with our future on the line. Look around, it's a mess, we took a turn. Now everything you say is offensive, and we slowly losing our freedom, ain't got no defense.
We can raise the black flag if they want war. Had mercy for the enemy, but don't no more. We can raise the black flag.